Then it was 1.7 offer from the Democrats, and then it was 1.3, and then somehow you're supposed to try to push that together and roll it and spin it and churn it out and twist it and turn it into something that vaguely resembling a win. And it really didn't matter if you put it on that machine down there on the Jersey Shore and pulled it like taffy and twisted it and packaged it and put a bow on it and dipped it in chocolate. It's not a win. It's just that's not what a win. If it walks like a loss and quacks like a loss, it's just a loss. And it was a loss, and the president said, I don't want a loss. He's like, national emergency. So here we go. John, this is something, to what degree there is really influence, I don't know, sitting here as one who does the news and doesn't do the commentary. But all the people who are out there making noise for him have said, okay, go ahead and do this, but you better sign a national emergency. How much of an effect has that had? Do we have a way to know?
And in case there was any doubt as to who instructed Trump to declare this national emergency, you don't have to look far.
This is not about immigration. I think everybody at this table knows this. This is about a political victory that has to happen, because if Donald Trump loses on this, the Democrats are going to use the momentum for impeachment. No, it's true. And this is a political win he needs right now. Everybody knows, of course, this is common sense. He cannot lose this fight.
And Coulter warning he'll lose re-election if he does not stand and fight for a signature issue.
You need the base.
Yes.
That's why you got to get that wall built. National emergency. I think we're going in that direction. Got to get that wall built.
The president cannot afford to go to the American people in 2020 and say, tried for the wall, just couldn't quite get it.
So what this is really about, what the fight comes down to, is the president's reelection.
How important is the border wall to President Trump's reelection hope?
What do you think is the impact on the president's 2020 reelection run if this wall doesn't happen?
Yeah, I think he's walking on thin ice.
He gets anything north of what he was going to get in the first round, so something in the 2s or 3s, he will take it. And a fence or a barrier close enough to a wall, given everything else, because he needs to start running for re-election.
I don't understand how he survives this personally for his own legacy. People are going to say, this was your key issue. This is what you promised most of all.
So if it seems like Shep Smith is the only voice of reason at Fox News, that's because he typically is. Clearly, there is no national emergency at the southern border. If the fact that border apprehensions have been declining for decades isn't enough proof that there isn't a crisis, we have Fox News pundits who have admitted outright, on the air, with no subtlety whatsoever, that the move is purely political. When Democrats took control of the House, and therefore the power to appropriate funds, Trump realized that he'd have no other opportunity to deliver on his biggest campaign promise, and his supporters would realize that it was just bluster. That's it. There's no more of an immigration crisis on the southern border than there is in Oregon. The only actual crisis here is that we have a president who says any fleeting thought that enters his mind, repeats it 1,000 times, and then has to figure out how to back it up. And it's looking increasingly unlikely that he'll actually find a way to do that. Nancy Pelosi already stated that she'll consider taking legal action against the emergency declaration.
Yes, ma'am.
The president just said that he will declare a national emergency when he signs this bill. Do you still plan to file a legal challenge if and when he does that, and how quickly would you?
Did I ever say I was filing a legal challenge?
You said Democrats.
I may. That's an option, and we'll review our options.
And even the Department of Justice warned the White House that the declaration would be blocked by the courts. But that won't stop Trump's spin machine from painting this as a win, because it was never about a national emergency or keeping Americans safe or telling the truth. It was only ever about scoring a political win, but
if it walks like a loss and quacks like a loss, it's just a loss.